Welcome back to World Talks here on TVP World, where we discuss the most pressing issues. I'm Anna Kalczyńska. Alternative for Germany, the AfD, right-wing main opposition party, has been labeled as an extremist entity that threatens democracy. As such, it is now subject to strict monitoring and perhaps could even be banned in the future. Now, Donald Trump's administration officials have condemned the move by Germany's domestic intelligence agency, setting off a diplomatic row between the two NATO allies. To discuss the possible scenarios for Germany and its transatlantic relations, we are now joined by Andrzej Byrt, former Polish ambassador to Germany. Good morning, Ambassador. Thank you for joining us this morning. So let's start with the basics. How did the AfD violate the core institutional principles, as the German Office for Protection of the Constitutions put it?
Well, the German Office for the Protection of Constitution has made a thorough analysis of the, for a long time, actions and statements by the politicians of AfD whenever and wherever they were expressing them. And on this basis, it's quite a thorough and comprehensive material, printed on more than 1,000 pages. It confirms, according to the agency, that AfD try to deny citizens of the Republic of Germany the equal rights as far as their citizens' rights are concerned, and particularly those who are stemming from milieus, from groups having their basis in abroad, which means those German citizens who of, not all of them, but those who are from immigrant origins, immigrant swathe of the society, and those who, particularly those who came from Muslim countries. That was, since there was quite a broad material and well substantiated by proven, registered and printed materials, they decided to classify AfD as a party, which, as a matter of fact, breaks constitution, not per chance, but on a regular basis.
So I understand those materials came from the campaign conducted, yes, right? Because one may also ask about the potential stage, whether is it a good one, a good moment to pursue this legal action, right? Oh. After all, the campaign was legal, the AfD was admitted, and it was legally operating in Germany.
Yes, yes. The agency, as a matter of fact, has already put some restrictions on far right-wing parties which existed in Germany on both sides, right-wing and some type of communist ones, but they had a very minor impact on the political scene. All of a sudden, AfD, after having made quite a big efforts to gain new, quote-unquote, clients, supporters, had a very big success in the 5 East German lands, the former German Democratic Republic. As a matter of fact, that was a big victory of them in the eastern part of the country. And therefore, the actions which have been taken, also by the top leaders who were quoting some Nazi statements, have pushed, so to say, the former government of Olaf Scholz to start making this analysis. The problem is whether 5 minutes before noon, because now we are knowing that within 2 days we'll be having a new government in Germany. So to say the government of Olaf Scholz has made a job which probably now will not be made by the new governments, and therefore, to a certain extent, it probably have enabled them, the new government, which will be formed in 2 days' time, so to say, to give him a free hand to react on this. Now the new government of Friedrich Merz can decide whether they'll be pushing this question further or whether they will simply observe and react on it.
Exactly. The timing is crucial. We might say the coalition is going to be signed today as we speak. So that is a very important issue also from this perspective. AfD is just a very considerable power in main opposition power in Germany, and has seen a considerable rise in support, as you've just rightly mentioned. But what could be the next step now? Do you expect AfD to be banned even.
No,
Public
no. Next step will be, of course, taken by AfD authorities, and namely, they will bring this case to a constitutional court. They will simply try to clear it up on the basis of a legal way, which is still stated there. It's open for all citizens, but also for the parties, and therefore they will try to question this classification, and that will be probably the next steps. Will concentrate the attention of media and normal citizens for the weeks to come.
Okay, because let me quote just Saxony and Anhalt MP saying for Der Spiegel that it would lead to the ban of AfD. Jan van Enkel, chief of Die Linke,
yes,
also said he would do everything to ban the party. So I wonder what could be the procedure. On the other hand, Alexander Dobrindt, the interior minister, the new interior minister, is saying that it's unlikely AfD would be banned.
So as I said, we'll be facing a quarrel.
And also, excuse me, and also in the polls, 40% of the Germans would like to see AfD banned.
Yes. Well, now we have to face the political map of Germany. In the second round of February elections, the AfD practically won in the entire former GDR, which is today 5th East Bundesländer. And therefore, these 40%, they are probably in great majority people stemming from the Federal Republic of Germany, even from before the unification. This, I think, quarrel in this debate will concern to a certain extent the appraisal of the last more than 30 years, what has happened in Germany after the reunification. In what way the citizens of reunified Germany, those living in the eastern part of Germany, have been treated by their friends, colleagues, families and politicians from the West. It's a question which has been opened already in Germany, particularly by those scientists, by the way, stemming from the Eastlander, who says we had been, as a matter of fact, demonized, and we were taken over by the political class from the West, and therefore having been not reaching the awaited level of our participation in the democratic society of Germany, certain strata of our society has reacted that empire stroke back.
All right, so the reunification comes back, and the question
that'll be kind of an appraisal of methods, ways, and the equality in access to democratic society and their institutions.
I can't help seeing analogies somehow, to a certain extent, of course, to the recent Romania situation, because the question imposes itself, yes, right? Aren't the voters being robbed of their votes?
Well, that's exactly probably now this big shift, not only in Europe, worldwide, but nonetheless in Sweden, particularly also in the Central Eastern Europe, towards the populist right-wing parties, which now got a kind of at least psychological support by the win of the same party in the United States, has made people to express their different doubts, their different, I would say, opinions which probably has not been taken account of by the previously ruling democratic parties within the entire system. And so in such a way, the voters of the newly right-wing oriented parties have expressed their disappointment, their disagreement with the so far leading line of political thinking after the political change in Eastern Central Europe.
But on the other hand, just to stress how polarized the society is, on one hand we have this second party in the Bundestag, AfD, right-wing, yes, party, but clearly we must stress that CDU-CSU has won the election.
Yes. Yes.
So this is very interesting, right? How the society has divided.
The society has divided. That's a particular very interesting phenomenon within Germany. So the new party and the new coalition, which is, as we remember, for the 5th time we have the big coalition, which means Christian Democrats with their sister party CDU from Bavaria, and Social Democrats, which had their reign, which ruled in the last period. these parties 5 times have already cooperated also in very critical moments of the history of Germany, Western Germany. Then Western, now united Germany. But now they will have probably to face, I would say, kind of a rethinking of their national policies and national raison d'être in order to reunify Germans.
I think they are already
yes,
rethinking it.
Yes.
I think that
it's something which happens not only in Germany, but now we see, because there's the largest European country, more strong one, so and still
not exactly to the Polish liking, but the Minister of Interior and Friedrich Merz is adopting a tough stance on immigrants.
They will be, I would say, probably the even more important thing than their participation in the peaceful relations between Central Western Europe and Ukraine.
Andrzej Byrt, thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador, for being with us here today and commenting on such an important issue for our Western neighbor. And that concludes this edition of World Talks. Thank you for watching.